evening, our amazing fans across the world. Welcome to the 2025 NSMQ Review Show, the special edition where we will break down all the actions, surprises, and shining moments from this year's semifinals. My name is Jacqueline Dubafour. I'm based in London and we are streaming live across the world. Before we begin, let me take this moment to acknowledge our amazing sponsors. The National Science and Maths Quiz is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Gold PLC and supported by Momo from MTN, Joy News, Pepsodent, Prudential Life Insurance, Due Pay Money Transfer, Truster AI, Adansi Travels, Rand Air, Kivogari, Spin City Laundromat, Coronation Insurance, Secure Sanitary Pad, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University, Bell Beverages, Floral Tissues, Imigo from Hashcom, GTP, and YFM. And of course, this is a prime time production. So, before we start, let me also take this opportunity to acknowledge and introduce our guests across the world. Our first guest joining us is Dr. Eunice Nkansa, a research professor within the Division of General Education and Interdisciplinary Studies at Kean University, the fourth largest public higher education institution in New Jersey and a proud R2 research university in the US. She's also an old student of Wesley Girls. Dr. Eunice, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Happy to be back here.
Thank you. My second guest is Miss Judith Enimbia, a chemist and a client service executive from Primetime Limited. She holds a BSc and MPhil degree in chemistry from the University of Ghana, and she's an old student of Nungwa Senior High School. Judith?
It's good to see you. Hi, Jacqueline. Thank you very much.
My third guest is Mr. Godfred Ehia, an old student of the reigning champions in Fansipim, and he works as an oil and gas professional and data analyst based in Calgary, Canada. Godfrey, we've got so much to talk about in regards to your school, right?
Yeah. No, thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you for having me again.
No worries. I have to start with Wesley Girls. You know, they are one of those girls' schools that we're expecting to progress, you know, a lot further, right? What happened? How is the camp feeling at the moment?
An expected question. I saw that come in, and I do want to congratulate the schools that competed, Wesley Girls High School, and most especially for Betifi Presby. I think that they have proven beyond reasonable doubt that they are as competitive as any other school in any category. And to my girls, it was kind of like a mixed emotions watching it, because then you have that sense of pride seeing your girls being represented. And then slowly, you know, that sense of disappointment begins to kind of like come in, realizing that, you know, they're slowly moving away from the victory. But I am very proud of the girls that represented us, holding our heads high up, especially being one of those girls' schools that represented in the NSMQ. And I'm confident that one day we'll be able to secure a spot in the finals. And that's not to say that it's going to come easy, but I feel that it requires a lot of preparation and a call on all stakeholders who are involved to be able to make this a success.
So you're a chemist, right? And of course, you're
Yes, I am.
a science person, and you're also a female,
Yes.
right? Not to pick on females across the world.
Yes.
I love you all. What do you think the girls' schools are not doing properly to excel beyond semifinals and potentially win the entire competition?
So I would say, or from further investigation, I realized the coordinator says they don't get enough time with the girls compared to the guys. They don't have enough exposure. They don't have enough contacts with the girls. And it's quite unfair for the females because they also do need a lot of time with the coordinator, just like the men. I believe if measures is put in place for them to be able to have contact with the girls without it extending that today being they claim they tend to get any sexual harassment, sexual assault attacks, so that's why they don't want to have enough contact with them. But I believe if measures is being put in place, they can have enough contact with them, just like they do with the boys, and able to train them extensively, like they do with the boys. They shouldn't put a label on it that, oh, I'm training girls, I have to do it diligently, I have to be delicate with them, I have to reduce the contact hours because I don't want anything ahead of it. If you really believe they are very good, the same exposure given to them should be the same thing given to the boys so that everybody can compete at their best ability so that you know, oh, I was able to train them very well for them to excel. I'm proud of it. And I believe if they get it, they would win. Because if you're able to win the regional championship and you competed against the boys who, what difference does it make for you not to be able to excel from the quarterfinals? It was because they didn't get enough training. They didn't get enough contact hours because the boys were able to stay back and able to have enough training. But the girls, they had to be relieving a whole lot of things. So I just believe if they get enough contact hours, that's the best option. And we need to put in more effort for them to get enough contact hours with the coordinators. Even if we get a female coordinator, because I really haven't come across a female coordinator yet. They are mostly
Yeah, I
men,
was
which
gonna
I really
say
tend to
that.
ask.
Yeah,
Yes, it's surprising how a girl school and the coordinator is a male, and I'm like, okay, I think I understand why the female don't perform very well because it's a male, so they don't give them their all compared to how they give the men. So I also believe if we get female coordinators, it will be very, very good. And we'll see our girls performing extremely well and they'll win the trophy.
yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say this is probably a moment for us to advertise for more female coordinators, and
Yeah.
it's rather unfortunate. It's rather unfortunate and fortunate that I'm part of the show because I would have taken on that challenge, right? It's a low project. In fact,
Yeah.
the other time I was speaking to one of the panelists about how we can get one of the female schools to win. Let's put in a 5 days trip to London, shopping the whole time there, right? I'm pretty
Mhm.
much sure the girls will work pretty hard
Yes,
to topple the male schools. It's
exactly.
almost like training for the Olympics, right? No different from that. You just put in a
No
plan
difference.
and then they have to follow. But we do need more female coordinators. So if you're out there
Yes.
and you're looking into doing this, make sure you reach out to your school or schools that you're interested in to support our female contestants. Okay, right. Thank you very much, Judith. In Fansipim, reigning champions. And also, your performance this year has been impeccable. Can you let me know what kind of strategy have you guys put in a plan, right? Like, usually with companies, they've got like a 5 year strategy, right, to make X amount of profit. Have you guys adopted something similar for Infansipin? Because the way that they're progressing at the moment, right, I won't be surprised if they also do a back-to-back this year.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jacqueline, for the question. And yeah, we are very excited about it. We are very proud of the boys. In terms of a plan, I would assume so. I'm not quite sure because I'm not on the ground. But starting from, I mean, from last year, what we saw, the team that they put together, the team that was supporting the guys, I believe there would be that arrangement for this current group of people that they have. And so yeah, they've been great. I like the fact that they show confidence. I like the fact that they are very resilient, and I think that it tests they for me personally. I think that they were really tested with the quarterfinals with Prempe and with Adisco because there was a lot of pressure, right? A lot of and I think that has a psychological effect on you, whether you're smart or not. And they were able to push through it, and so. I give them kudos for that. They've been very resilient in the whole process, and I think that's what has contributed to their success so far.
Indeed, indeed. I think that El Clasico contest really, really opened people's eyes. And it was almost like a grand finale, right? And
Yeah.
Infanzipim came on top. Thank you very much, Gottfried. Dr. Eunice, this year, one of the interesting facts is certain schools fielded twins. schools were twinning. We know Ebri girls, we know Wesley
Mhm.
girls, and I think there was one boys' schools which had non-identical twins. I can't remember on top of my head, right? Is this like a new strategy? Is it like the new trend for schools now?
I'm glad you asked that question, Jacqueline. Quite honestly, I think that, you know, for any team to succeed at any competition or whatever project, you have to be willing to explore all options, right? And so, in exploring the options, you have to consider some of these characteristics that put you at an advantageous edge. And I think besides them, and I'm sure they're not just going to pick, any twins to represent the school. Of course, they have to have certain standard of intellect, and then look at any other characteristics like I indicated that will put them at give them like an advantage, right? So we all know that team synergy, it's very important, same as twin synergy. If that is happening, there's probably minimal miscommunication, like they're able to pick up on all these nonverbal cues as twins. So again, I think that if this strategy worked for certain schools and you have them within your contestants or whoever is representing you, use it. Do I advise that they should solely focus on just bringing twins to represent schools? Absolutely not, right? Because you also want to consider other areas. So I think that they're just trying to explore all options here, and that's what you want and see. And I'm sure they're going to reflect back to see at what point did this work or did this not work. And me personally, at some point, when we saw the substitution happening with Wesley girls, for example, personally, I thought that was not needed. But then again, I'm not part of the team, so they were able to assess whose strength and what. But I think in terms of even substituting, you have to be able to realize what time. You have to be able to kind of like identify the right time to bring in a substitute, right? So if you already see like the rhythm is going, everything is going well, you don't just substitute. You have to do that strategically. And so I think if it's going to go well with any school, why not bring in that synergy? And that's what you want to be successful in any competition.
Absolutely. And to be honest, it must be really fun working with your twin if in an environment like this, right? So that you can support each other. So it is a new trend, but I'm sure we're looking forward to more. Miss Judith, usually in the news, right? It is sometimes reported that science is difficult for women. You've been through it. We've got Dr. Eunice, who has also been through, science courses. I've done quite a few modules during my time at university. Do you think it is really difficult for women, and what can we do to support girls coming through the education system?
I do not think it's difficult for women. I do think it was a biased statement because during then they weren't allowing women to be in schools, but I don't think it's difficult for women. If it's difficult for women, why is it not difficult for men? It's a challenging cause for both men and female, but everyone can do it because it's an interesting course. But it's been difficult, I highly doubt it because most of the people in school that were top in our classes and they were very, very brilliant in the practice were actually women. So it's not the other way around. It's difficult for you to ask me. I would say it's difficult for men than being difficult for women because the recent studies and the recent statistics shows that women actually top more of the science world than the men. So it's a biased statement, and I don't believe it's difficult for women. But then I do believe that if you're able to advocate more for it, because the reason why people actually also say that it's difficult for women is because of the fear that has been inflicted in the women right from their junior high school. So they're like, oh, I had this difficult, so I don't want to do it. So that's why there's now being the whole STEM advocates we do in junior high school. So let them know that no, it's not. You can do it. And you try to let them come into the real world. So when you do this, the reason why you do this is so that you do this. So they understand, oh, it's not just abstract. It's actually very, very practical. And it's not difficult at all. Don't let the fear get into you. So now we've gotten more female delving into the science courses compared to at first. It was just exposure and advocacy.
Mm.
And then psychologically, we also didn't know that it wasn't difficult at all. It was just fear and bias. But yeah, I'm very impressed with the number of females in the science courses of late. During my masters, the women are actually more than the men, which was very interesting to me, and I was so excited. So yeah, it's a bias statement. They need to retract that statement if it ask me.
Okay. Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, right, during the WASI, we see a lot of the females top those kind of subjects as well. So clearly it's not something that's really, it's not difficult. We're seeing girls come through, we're seeing a lot of scientists and doctors come through. So, if you're a girl out there, do not fear maths, biology, physics, chemistry. You can also do it. So hopefully we hope to see you taking up those courses. Godfred, so the infansipim consistency and how they can maintain their high pressure round exposure. How do they do it? I mean, what do you think is sort of, is it the home, them being at home? Because it seems like the Cape Coast schools are coming through to semis, to finals. We've got two in finals. Is the home crowd giving them an advantage over their competitors, or what is it that is really supporting the contestants to get to the grand finale once again?
I think the home crowd does help. There's a lot of support from the students. I mean, because it's being held in Cape Coast. So I think that it does help boost their morale. And like I mentioned before, I see resiliency, which is tough, at this level of the competition to be able to maintain your composure, right? You need to put in some strategies, depending on the round you are in, right? And I see them being calm about it. One of the things I also mentioned is looking at the quarterfinals and the semifinals, the substitutions they've been making. It seems as though it's been working for them. They will change out Ahmed and bring in Mohammed and keep Benjamin on for certain rounds. And so I think it's working for them. And so the other thing I've also seen is they communicate. I mean, the contestants, they seem to communicate. I don't know. I don't know this, for sure, for certain, but from what I see, they seem to communicate and um, decide not to give an answer if they are not supposed to. You know, that's what I was taking, especially from the semifinals. That's what I was taking from. I think it was the riddle, well, probably on the riddle side or the speed race. I can't quite remember, but um, sorry, but I could see that they had that communication. If the answers are not, coherent, they will stay away because they have a gap already. That's what I think they were trying to do there. So they have these strategies that I believe they put in place for different rounds, and it's helping the consistency.
Yeah, and I've noticed that with one of the Infansipim contestant, specifically Benjamin Asare, I think that's the name, right? For those
Mhm.
comprehensive questions, he seems to be very eloquent in being precise, answering those, and he's been able to pick up those maximum 3 points, which can be quite
Right.
difficult in those kind of questions. So I can see that helping in Fansipim, a lot more to accumulate as much points as, possible.
Right.
And maybe that's something that other schools need to start implementing in their strategy, right? Because you can sometimes you can get one or two out of 3 points, right? Losing 1 or 2 points rather than getting all the 3 points. And if you can score all the 3 points, it really helps you in accumulating points here and there. So, I mean, kudos to your team. It seems like your tactics is very much intact to get you guys the grand finale. Dr. Eunice, we have to speak about the El Clasico, right? And I'd like to have your thoughts on the El Clasico. And that contest is Opokuware, Achimota, and St. Peter's, which was a really tough one. Opokuware has got tremendous amount of experience, right? Having fielded two contestants who have 2 to 3 years of experience. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Did you think it was a tough one? Who did you see? Who did you think was gonna sort of pull through? Most people were predicting Opokuware, but of course, Achimota and St. Peter's are also, former champions, right? So we couldn't discount them. But what are your perspective on that contest?
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline, for that question. I think I love how Professor Kaufman, right? She puts it. She said it was like the battle of regional champions because they're all representing, different regions being champions from these regions and coming through. But for me, going into it, I think, or reflecting back on it, I noticed that, Opokuware came in with a strategy, or they had their eyes set on the goal, like right from the beginning. And as much as maybe they started off not too well, they were able to kind of pick back up and weaved in a lot of, all these different strategies. They were very well composed and they knew exactly when and when not to answer the questions. They were not in any haste. And even in the speed race, accuracy is important. In as much as it's in speed race, I noticed that on the Achimota end, and this is just from my perspective, I feel that they were a bit rushed in thinking through some of these responses. I mean, speed race doesn't mean you should just, answer in speed, but accuracy is also very important, especially in these high stakes, like, quiz competitions. And I think that they performed tremendously well. I was I honestly was amazed with how well they stayed on that goal, and also just ensuring that they were able to kind of come back easily from any type of like defeat they've had throughout. And I will definitely congratulate St. Peter's and Achimota also, but of course, if they are to come back next year, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Yeah.
Indeed, absolutely. And I'm sure they will come back a lot stronger. Miss Judith, this year, a lot of the talk and the news has been surrounding the Category C schools. We saw Aminiampon go against St. Augustine's and Pope John. What was your view in the performance in general?
So this year's Amanian Pond contestants were very, very strong because they actually did give St. Augustine's and Pope John's a fight for their win. Amanian Pond was very strong. They ended the contest with 23 points, which was war. And what was that school again? The second contest, GSCS, which is an option A school, but then Fansipem got that score, and that was their list score for that particular contest. So they did extremely well. They put up a competition. They didn't even back down when their score was low during the speed race, and they were calculative as well. And I would say for that particular contest, it was the most interesting to me for the day because it was a fight for that last slot. I mean, the second slot. Bob Jones didn't give Agasco any less chance. So the Agasco really had to fight for it, unlike the first competition with that of Fantapim, where you could see from the beginning that it was a clear win. This particular one, he didn't know because they were both fighting to get the slots at the finals. And it was very interesting. It was very competitive. Imagine topping from round 1, 2, 3, only for someone that you were topping with like 7, 10 marks coming overtake you. And then even the last round, which was the riddles, they still kind of had a comeback, and then it was left with like 5 or 3 gap, and then the last riddle was like the whole marks that was going to determine the winner. It was very, very interesting, and I'm very happy they got that kind of competition. Because if they had gotten a straight win kind of contest, it wouldn't have been very interesting. So it was good. Abaniapa really put in their best. And I believe if their coordinator or coordinators who trained them put in extra effort like the way they've put in this one, they would go beyond the semifinals and they would win, just like how Mankraso also did well. So yeah, I see the options these schools being in the finals and hopefully winning the trophy home. Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you, Miss Judith. And Godfred, so what do you say about Mount Council performance, which is also a Cat C school, who made it to the semis for the first time?
No, I think they did very well. I personally don't like them to think about the fact that they are category C, because they match toe to toe with category A schools. They beat, I believe it was Ghana Nationals and Thomas Aquinas to be in competition with Fanspem. And so they did really great to be on that stage, and I think that also brings out a lot about the school. Most people probably were not considering that school, considering anything good to come from that school, but these guys were able to show that it takes a lot of composure, it takes a lot of brilliance to be at that stage. And so we have to give it to them. They did really well, and I hope they don't even look down on themselves. They've really made their school proud, and so I believe we all would be happy for them, and hope to see them, hope to see them at this level of the stage next year and in the coming years.
Thank you, Godfred. So I always do this part where I ask the panelists what message they've got their school for their school. So Godfrey, starting off with you, obviously in Fansipim will be coming on Thursday to battle against two other Titans. What is your message for them?
I think they've done great so far, right? They've maintained their composure, which is great. One of the things they shouldn't be doing is being complacent. I doubt they would be, because all the schools there deserve to be to be winners, right? And so if you want to have an edge over them, you do not be complacent. They just have to maintain their composure. They are smart people, right? They are already smart. They deserve to be where they are. And so what I would say is that they maintain that composure. They do their best not to allow the pressure to get to them. There'll be a lot of noise from Opokuwari. There'll be a lot of noise from Ogasco, who also have their students right there as well. And so maintaining their composure I think would be what will determine who wins, and I would advise that they will do that.
Absolutely. Dr. Eunice, I know Wesley girls didn't make as far as we all wanted, but there is also another year to come, right? And many years to come. What kind of message do you want to send to the girls, your girls out there?
Okay, so I'm not just even targeting Wesley girls, it's to all girls secondary schools. We need more representation. And I think one thing that really stuck out to me in an interview session with I believe, contestants from Makran. So they were asked what was their rationale coming into the contest, and they said something really profound, that they wanted their school to gain more visibility, and that really struck me, because then if you want to win, you have to kind of see beyond just the winning the quiz competition. I feel like, a lot of these girls' secondary schools, and going back to Wesley girls, I would advise the contestants to kind of like understand what is their why behind coming into the competition beyond winning the quiz, beyond winning the context, for example. I think that they have to have something beyond that goal, so that they can help in redefining like how other young learners see STEM, even other young women see or view STEM. And that will be a way to ignite their own interest in coming into the STEM field. So if they're able to redefine and have a strong why, as in their reason for coming into the competition, besides just winning a cup or whatever, it can really contribute to making a change. So I do throw this as a challenge to all secondary school, especially the girls, and even to the mixed schools. We want to see like more females being represented as part of the group or the contestants, and that will demand a call on all stakeholders from like GES to parents to like old school associations for them to begin having these conversations on their platform to see how best to support our girls, because I almost feel it's become like a cliche, you know, um, this challenge is happening, that challenge is happening, but what exactly is being done? And we want more actionable steps taken to ensure that these girls are well represented in the competition. So for next year, I'm looking to see not seeing just Wesley girls excel through, but more female secondary schools come through. Yeah.
Indeed.
Mhm.
Who knows? We may have three girls' schools in the grand finale. So for Thursday's contest in Fansipim, St. Augustine's, or Pokuware, Dr. Eunice, who would you put your money on?
Jacqueline, this is a tough one.
Are
This
you
is a
sure?
tough one. Last year I put my money on my boys in front of him, and they did not fail us. This is a tough one because then Augustine Sue is coming through.
Mm,
I kind of see them going back to re-strategize and bringing in all those tools they have in their arsenal, like I always say, and El Pokirari also coming in with extensive experience throughout the NSMQ. So it's a tough one for me. I just want a good competition, and I'm hoping if I were to lean anywhere, I'll probably lean with Augusto for now.
for now, okay. Because
Yeah.
actually, this year's grand finale is similar to last year's. The only difference is Keita
Keita,
is
yeah.
Keita's place is taken over by Opokuware. That's the only
Mhm.
difference, right? So it's going to be an interesting one. And I think last year, because we had two schools from Cape Coast, I feel like to a certain extent they worked together. And then at some point, I think St. Augustine's was leading, right? But eventually, Fansipim came through from nowhere. So, Gottfried, right? What's your non-biased opinion on who's going to win?
Oh, my biased opinion will still be biased. I just want to tell the boys we have our speech day coming up this weekend, so it's going to crown, if they are going to, this should be a motivator for them. This should be a motivator for them. But I believe in our boys. I believe in, all the guys there, and so I think we have a strong team. The other schools, yes, they do have a strong team as well, but I think we do have a stronger team. So I'll go for Fanspen to be the winners for this year's competition again. I think we are going to do a back-to-back, and so I'll go for them. If I think Opokuware, I would put Opokuware second and then Ogasco for the third. But yeah.
I guess no surprises there, right?
Yeah, I was
Miss
just hoping
Judith,
that Dr. Eunice will fight for her boys, but
not
I
this year, right? What did they do to
no,
you, Dr. Eunice?
no.
they're
Quite
winning this
honestly,
season, right? This is for
yeah, quite honestly, I'm just in for like a good competition, and I
right.
want everybody to deserve, a spot in there. So we're still behind Infanta Pim, but we're placing other things elsewhere. So
Indeed,
No,
indeed,
I
yeah.
totally understand. And I think that one of the things that I also want to see is the competition, right? I want to see close competitions. So hopefully we'll get that for the finals.
Indeed. Miss Judith, you're in the camp, right? Can we get any predictions
Yeah,
or
yeah. I really can't give a prediction, but if we were at, I would prefer, not prefer, I would really want Opokuwari to win. And I see them winning because their team is very solid.
Hmm,
And one of the contestants being in for the third time has prepared himself mentally to be relaxed and calm because during their contest, he was pretty much calm throughout the whole contest, even though the gap initially wasn't that big in round two, unlike what they did to the other schools. He was still calm and collected and he was able to do well. And their third and fourth round was actually very impressive compared to the other contests. So if you were to ask me, I would really want them to win. Then in second will be Ogasco. And then yeah, the third being um the in front of him. Yeah.
well, this is not going to go down well with our viewers. All
Not at
right.
all.
It's been so fun. Thank you so much to our global panelists, Dr. Eunice speaking from New Jersey, Gottfried from Calgary, Canada, Judith from Cape Coast, Ghana, myself, London, UK. It's been really fun, but unfortunately, we have to wrap it up here. Make sure you join Professor Elsie Kaufman on Thursday for the grand finale. You do not want to miss this. It's going to be a proper cracker, as we say over here in the UK. But before I leave, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge our amazing sponsors. The National Science and Maths Quiz is proudly sponsored by the Ghana Education Service in partnership with Gold PLC and supported by Momo from MTN, Joy News, Pepsodent, Prudential Life Insurance, GPay Money Transfer, Truster AI, Adansi Travels, Rand Air, Kivogari, Spin City Laundromat, Coronation Insurance, Secure Sanitary Pad, Accra College of Medicine, Academic City University, Bell Beverages, Floral Tissues, Imago from Hashcom, GTP, and YFM. And of course, it's a prime time production. Oh my God, I'm so out of breath and very much jet lagged, to be honest. I've been your host, Jacqueline Dubafour. Thank you and see you. We'll be streaming our last episode on Saturday. So see you soon. Take care. Goodbye.